The Ullyxr Collective has awakened and even met some mysterious space amoeba along the way. Now begins the intensive work of locking down a part of the galaxy they can call their own. Hello, Legion. This is Hadrian. Thank you for being here. Let's play some more Stellaris Toxoids in our Heralds of the Dark Nova series. Let's take a moment, because we didn't do this last episode, and just look around this star system that belongs to the Ullyxr Collective. Because it's an interesting looking star system. They have this first planet around the sun, a relatively large molten world called Stellic Bank. That's giving us a little bit of energy income. And of course, the second rock from the sun is Ullyxr, the home planet, which has a moon called Rinvos, which is giving us some engineering research. And then the third planet is Larkenbank, which is a toxic world, which is terraformable. So we will need the Detox Ascension perk, which is, again, new to the Toxoids species pack, in order to terraform this toxic planet. That is a change from previous versions of Stellaris, where it was really, there was a higher cost, but you could still terraform the toxic planets. And then, of course, we have Rathal, which is a rocky ice world. And that's actually not even the next planet. The next is Bordstain. So it's quite a populated system in terms of its planets. Then we have Arnstein out here, a gas giant with 2 moons, Rask, and Stape. Always good to kind of have a sense for what our home system looks like, because we will be defending it, or at least, well, hopefully not directly, but that's home. So let's continue with where we left off last time. We did just discover this anomaly. The LX Banked Purpose has found an anomaly on Piscus 3, and that is, of course, the remnants of a large fleet action. We're going to go to speed 2. We're not going to tackle that anomaly just yet. What we're working on at the moment is establishing colonies and expanding outward as rapidly as we can. Because right now, this is a pretty system. Right now, we don't know where any nearby enemies might be. We've run into some space amoeba, as I mentioned, but that's really it. So we need to make sure that we stay on top of things. Let's go ahead and build mining stations here and a research station. And I will queue up a colony ship. Grey goo. The planetary body Corniferous 5 appears to be covered in some manner of grayish substance possessing strange properties and varying metallic composition. Yet again, kind of an advanced anomaly. I want my science ships to continue exploring, not only finding territory, because that's the most important thing right now, but once they're leveled up a bit more and they've done that, they'll be able to circle back and tackle these anomalies a little bit more quickly. So we're going to leave that be for now. It's a fairly standard practice with me. You don't have to do it that way. You can tackle those hard anomalies right away. It's just going to take you longer, and that science ship is going to sit there when they could be exploring more of the neighboring territory. And again, I'm in a situation where I'm not in the middle of a cluster. I'm kind of sitting between a couple of different clusters, so I would much rather the neighboring systems be discovered, and quickly. Discovered and explored, I should say. Now let's go ahead and colonize. I did have a colony to rename as well. Weiston is going to be the name of that colony. That's fine. And then Groman Prime, I believe we were going to change your name. Let's go with Castor. We are going to use the random names as much as we can. All right, so it looks like we can... Oh, can't quite explore there yet, but we can explore there. Nice. So we've had another first contact event with the space amoeba. The entities encountered by our fleets some time ago are new, spaceborne life forms. While significantly larger than a Ullyxr corvette, these space amoeba herds are minuscule next to our full corpus. So this is going to give us the space amoeba study special project and kind of wrap up the first contact process. So
Communications established with potentially
that's our first potentially softer, not guaranteed softer, but potentially. And we're going to study this. This is going to tie up our society researcher for a little while, but just for 2,000 research points. That's going to finish in several months, actually. Although, truth be told, hang on. Let's cancel that, because he's very close to being done with... Strintok Stanif is very close to being done. Sorry, I should take the names of my people seriously. I apologize. That's insensitive of me. Strintok Stanif is almost done. Or rather, it's Duptian Restal that's almost done. So yeah, I could go ahead and just have him switch to that other process, as a matter of fact. Yeah, let's do that. I was looking at the wrong person's bar. Duptlin Restal is almost done with their initial research. 42 years and 3 days. A closer scan of the debris field around Yarick 4 has led to the discovery of an airtight capsule containing an atomic clock that measures time with unparalleled precision. It has a frequency uncertainty so low that it will be another 879 million years before it gains a single second, and it is counting down to a date 42 years and 3 days away. So, roughly 2250. The capsule holds no clues as to what this date signifies or who the owners are, but it seems as though someone out there has lost track of the time. So let's keep an eye on it. We'll get some engineering research, tick-tock, tick-tock, and we'll see what happens there. So that's here in Yarick. That was the anomaly that we were looking at. And now this science ship can continue to explore, and I would very much like it to do that. Let's go back to speed 2. We've got a couple of colonies establishing themselves.
Rocket new tech.
Excellent. So that's the physics project that I was hoping to finish. I mentioned in the first episode that I would explain something that kind of came up pretty early in the first episode, even while I was going over the species, while I was going over the Ullyxr Collective before gameplay started. And that is that we have an additional research alternative. The way that Stellaris' research works, if you're unfamiliar, is every time a project is completed, this is key, because if you change projects before a research project is completed, you'll save your progress on the one that you were working on, and you'll get to pick something else from the list of options that you had. But when you complete a project, it's like a deck of cards. A new set of possible research options is generated for you based on all of the available possibilities, and it's random. There might even be some rare special technologies that you can research, and it's different every single time. There are some technologies that are programmed to kind of show up earlier, some that are programmed to show up later, obviously. Like, for instance, the early research bonuses that we got for both physics, the one that just finished, and for engineering, those almost always appear in the first turn. It was somewhat unusual that we didn't get all 3 of them. Well, I say it's somewhat unusual, but it's kind of 50-50, really. Sometimes you'll have the opportunity to do the research speed boost in every single category right away, which is always nice. But that doesn't always happen, and it didn't happen this time. So we didn't sweat it because we're doing a YouTube series, and we're just not sweating it that much. But some options will show up much later. But the key thing is that when you finish a research project, an actual research project, as opposed to these special projects, when you finish something on this list, a new list of options will be generated that might not include the options that were previously offered to you. The only exception is, as I said, if for some reason you have progress towards a particular technology, either because you've already put some time in and then you changed, or because you acquired progress on the technology from salvaging debris, for example, you found like a piece of an alien ship, then you will see a different sort of option where it shows that you can finish that research, and those options never go away. They're always there waiting for you to finish what you started. So, I think these are 4 really good choices. I want all the things, but I do want to go for automated exploration protocols to increase my survey speed, because I want to be able to lock down a good amount of territory for the Ullyxr right now. We have a nebula over here, which is quite good. We'll be able to mine that for minerals. And because we're rock people, minerals are everything. Lithoid species tend to convert their mineral output into pretty much every other major resource. It's a big frickin' deal to have minerals as a lithoid in Stellaris. Oh, didn't mean to close that. What do we have? A small rectangular object on the surface of this planet is deflecting all scanning beams like a mirror. It's on Jared 1. Our sensors are unable to determine its material composition. Find out what's going on, please. I would like to know more. All right, let's build a starbase there. And then we also... Honestly, I'm gonna go ahead and build another construction ship. I know it might seem a bit like overkill, but I really want to make sure that I have the ability to quickly build as soon as I'm able to. Every single system that I'm claiming is taking both alloys and influence, and you can see this when I click the button. I'll point it out next time, but So because I only have a certain amount of this and a certain amount that it changes each month, that's what these plus values are. I can't just expand whenever I want to. I have to wait for those values to build up, but I still would like them to, I would like my construction ships ready to add another system to my territory as soon as possible. Oh, nice. I forgot we'd already gotten 3 of the expansion traditions. So, limited autonomy will reduce our empire size from systems and our empire size from planets, and then blot out the stars will reduce our starbase upkeep. We don't have too many starbases yet. I'm going to go ahead and reduce our empire size. I also mentioned this in the first episode. Remember that we have an empire size that's calculated just by the amount of territory, the amount of pops, the amount of systems, and the amount of planets that we control. And notice this tooltip here. When empire size is at or below 100, no other costs are being modified. You're fine as long as you stay under that 100 mark. If you really want to min-max and be focused on incurring no penalties whatsoever. But the moment you start to go above 100, you'll get tiny little penalties at first, and then they'll start to snowball the bigger and bigger your empire becomes. So, one of the really useful things that you can do is obtain as many bonuses as you can. You don't have to do this, but you can obtain as many bonuses as you can. If you want a large empire, then you can reduce the effect that various things has on building up your empire size. For example, we just adopted limited autonomy, and you can see it is negatively modifying 2 of those contributing factors to empire size. Thank you, by the way, to everyone who came to the premiere for this series. I had a lot of fun. It was good hanging out with everyone as always, and it's been a long time since I've debuted a Stellaris series on the channel, so it was quite a thrill. So, let's see. I want some spawning pools here, and do I have enough? Yeah, I can probably buy some. Yeah, I'm going to buy enough minerals to just go ahead and queue up the second building. Yeah, I'm going to go for the Sensorium Suite here as well. I think I did on Ullyxr already. Actually, you know what? Because that's not going to be as useful to me right now, let me go ahead and go for... Yeah, let's go for more research labs. I would really like to push the research speed of this species a fair amount. Okay, so notice it takes 67 unity and 90 alloys. While conducting surface scans of Jared 1, Science Officer Jog Stanif and the crew of the LX Bank Purpose discovered what appears to be an artificially carved slab of rock covered in alien writing. They've not yet detected any other signs of alien activity on the planet, and exactly how this mural came to be here is a mystery. We have prepared a special project to translate the text. Fascinating. Alright, so that would be the result of that anomaly that we just finished up. And we can go ahead and build a research station here. We have a new construction ship available here. So I'm going to order a starbase. Good, there's already a starbase being built. Or is there? No, there's not. So let's have that built in Myrum. Or Mirum. We're going to move another construction ship to Kornophoros, but we're not going to be able to do anything there just yet. Atmospheric readings from Awarth 2 do not match simulated projections. Look at this system. There's a lot going on here. I've had a mod installed in Stellaris for a while that would move these to the side, but in the current version of Stellaris, that mod is broken. So there might be another one that I can use. I don't know if I'll use it for this series, but it's weird to have things popping up in the middle of the screen. But this is... the Awarth system is pretty substantial, so hopefully there'll be a lot of resources here once we're done exploring it. The science ship is still going to town. Let's go ahead and research that anomaly since it's a routine level anomaly. It won't take too long. I believe we have a colony ship on the way to Yarok 4A there, which is a 10-slot continental world. And there's a 20-slot Arctic world on Jared 2, which we're already exploring. So it looks like we've got a cluster here that we can lock down relatively soon. We do need to take care of those space amoebas before too long. I am going to go ahead and give the order to build a few more corvettes.
Special project.
Here we go. Science Officer Jog Sanif has managed to partially translate the alien mural discovered on Jarad 1. The text contains a staggering amount of data, and the mural evidently serves as some sort of low-tech library. It describes, in broad terms, the collected technological knowledge of an alien civilization that dominated this region of the galaxy some 80 million years ago. 80 million. A lot of it is already known to us, but the data does contain several promising leads for technologies we had yet to consider. There is enough data here to keep our scientists busy for decades, but we will need an orbital research facility to continue the translation efforts. So this just made Jarad 1, look at those modifications, a very significant research outpost. And we're about to add that to our territory. So we're going to let that science ship finish up. Again, noticing that I'm getting to manually unpause after all of these events, it's a beautiful thing. Those of us that have played Stellaris for a long time. I remember someone even commented during the premiere, like, oh my god, I've waited for this feature for so long. And I was like, same, because it's just something that's been, it's very easy with all the pop-ups and the auto-pausing and the auto-unpausing to get mixed up as to whether your game is running or not. And so having a little bit more control, as I showed you last episode, is very handy. Immense ragged planes of shadow drift across Aworth 2's face. They are cast not by clouds, but by sheets of organic material drifting through the upper layers of the atmosphere, hinged, or rather jointed, to allow for a small degree of articulation. Science Officer Rukon Steliold is as yet unwilling to say whether these things are flora or fauna, or what possible purpose, if any, their elaborate shadow casting might serve. So that's the shadow play modifier to Aworth. Alright, we've got mining stations to build there. Can we do anything in Corniferos yet? No. Let's wait. Nope, we need 35 unity and 24 alloys. Oh wow, Jarad is turning out to be quite an important system. And, by the way, it's on the nebula. It's in the nebula, rather. So that's going to be one where we could potentially have a starbase that is harvesting some of this material and getting minerals from it. So that's going to be quite handy. All right, so we've got this is one of the rare resources. So we've already discovered nearby some volatile motes. We also have Zro in Jarad. And it's not quite in the cluster that I just pointed out. It's linking to another cluster, but hopefully we can lock down this area and be fine. Impressive structures litter Jarad 3A's surface. Good lord, what's going on in Jarad? Practically begging for some archaeological work. Research. This system is proving to be a treasure trove of research progress. It's really good. All right, so I think I'm going to go ahead and send this construction ship to Jarad. Ooh, situations. This is a relatively new feature in Stellaris. Our colonists on Levenbank have made a startling discovery. Deep in a remote mountain range, they stumbled across a mysterious structure that, according to our scans, was not there when we first surveyed the planet. Its condition is excellent, almost as if it was newly built, but there is no evidence of Ullyxr involvement in its construction. In fact, its architecture shows alien characteristics with curves and angles that appear unusual and even disturbing to our aesthetic sensibilities. At its entrance, there is a sign, in our language, curiously. I remember this event, so this has been modified to use the new situation system, with the words, "Welcome to the magnificent labyrinth of exotic transdimensional anomalies. Enter at your own risk." Well, we could say we don't have time to investigate, or send a team to investigate, which is we get to explore the interior of the mysterious labyrinth. We now have the situation up at the top of the outliner. This will have the following effects. There'll be a certain energy upkeep, which we can afford. Or we can say, screw that, and we will monitor it from afar. So either of these choices will lead to... So this is a mini story. A lot of these situations are now built into the game where you don't just make choices and something happens. You make choices and something begins to happen, and the situation unfolds in a way where you can kind of watch it progressing on the outliner, which I really like. It's a new element. None of the existing... Well, some of it's been modified, but none of the existing stuff has been taken out of Stellaris. It's just a new variant in the way that the game tells stories, which it's fantastic. All right, so we're researching that. I just need a little bit more influence, and I will be able to claim Corniferos. Etic Monolithic. Jared 3A is uninhabited and indeed uninhabitable, but not unvisited. Its surface is littered with tall cenotaphs carved from some mineral not native to the planet, evidently placed here by some artistically inclined spacefaring race. The monolith's flowing lines deftly chart a history so fantastical it must surely be fictional. Surely. Don't call me Shirley. Image them for the archives. All right.
Growing colony lattice.
All right, so we have another colony establishing itself right now. Soundtrack's about to get funky. Get ready. That timing, that sound effect could not have been more, poorly timed. But now you can listen to the music. Our communication link to the research drones we sent into the Labyrinth was cut off almost as soon as they entered. Nothing was heard for several days as we waited anxiously. As time passed, we resigned ourselves to the loss of our people. Then, once all hope was lost, they re-emerged. However, this has only raised further questions. The research drones claim to have no memory of their stay within the Labyrinth, and their recordings of the expedition are horribly garbled. Furthermore, even though they were in the Labyrinth for a matter of weeks, they seem to have aged several years. Disconcerting. Okay. That sounds less than ideal. So here's the thing.
Research complete.
I want to see how close this ship is. It looks like they're very close to being done with the Jared system. Maybe 2 more planets after this one. And I would rather colonize Jared first. I definitely want Cornophoros, but if I have to pick between the two, I'm going for Jared first. Obvious reasons. We've been looking at it this entire episode. That system has pretty much sucked up this entire episode's worth of content. That one system. Advanced instrumentation allows for the study and practical application of physical systems at nanometric scales. So engineering research from brain drones has just finished. So we're researching engineering a little bit faster now, which is good. Ooh. I guess I could go ahead and unlock Strikecraft and be done with that, because that's one that tends to... That one eludes me a lot in the early game. So the fact that I'm seeing it now is making me want to pick it just so it doesn't elude me later. Yeah, I talked myself into it. Let's do it. That's one of the interesting things that occurs, and I'm sure this is by design. Because Stellaris has advanced so much since its initial release, one of the things that's happened is you have a tech tree that's just more complex than it used to be. It started out complex, but now what happens is some really basic techs like Strikecraft, if you don't pick them when you first see them, they might not show up again for a while, even though they're pretty basic and they're programmed to arrive early, because there are just so many other options that the game gives you. So that's an example of that happening, and I want to try to avoid it if possible. All right, so we're going to just wait for this science ship to be done in Jared. As much as I would like to go ahead and add some additional systems elsewhere, this is the one I want, so this is what we're going to wait for. Oh, just kidding. There was another one over here. Oh, wow. No, there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 more to do. All right. It's going to be worth the wait, though. Oh, wait, did it? I'm so confused. Oh, yeah, that's right. Because these have no modifiers, I've already surveyed these. See, this is what happened. There's so much going on in Jared. They're fully surveyed. They're done. That system survey complete. That was for Jared. So let's go ahead and build the starbase. Cool. Because there's so much going on here and these 3 planets are labeled, my brain was going, oh, okay, well, those are the ones that have been surveyed and all the rest still have to be looked at. But no, that's not the case. Much better. Okay. Nice. First Ascension perk. So, blot out the stars is our only option there. So now we have completed the first tradition tree. Adopting all expansion traditions will grant the following additional effects. Max districts on non-artificial planets only, +1. Ascension perks unlocked, +1. So, with that, decisions. Nihilistic acquisition, which is basically raiding, and I don't really have any opponents yet, so that would be a little bit premature to choose nihilistic acquisition. If we want to be raiders, essentially. We want to be space Vikings. That's what nihilistic acquisition allows you to do. Interstellar Dominion. So this would reduce the cost of starbases and reduce the amount of influence it costs to claim an enemy system. So that would be one way to expand faster. Technological ascendancy. This is one that I tend to go for pretty early. I think this is probably most people's first ascension perk. You know what I mean? It's probably the one that most of us go for first, to be honest. Just if we're being real, it's probably that one. One vision. True unity is achieved only when the ultimate goals of a nation and its people are one and the same. So this is one that boosts not only monthly unity, but reduces amenities usage and increases the governing ethics attraction, which basically means that your core governing ethics, not as valuable for a hive mind, but your core governing ethics are more attractive to the population, and you're less likely to be affected by differing ideas in the population about how people should be governed. Yes, that's a factor in Stellaris. Mastery of nature. So this reduces the... Not only does it reduce the blocker cost for any planets, which, speaking of which, I haven't done that yet on Ullyxr. We're not really at a point where we have the energy credits to clear all the stuff, but we might be able to do one or two. But on top of this, you have the Mastery of Nature decision, which increases the number of districts a planet can support by 2. And you can do this once on every single planet. Imperial Prerogative, this is another one that I tend to go for pretty early, and you already know a little bit about it because we talked about empire size earlier. This is something that reduces the empire size from planets by 50%. So our empire size from planets is already being... It's already being down modified by 25%, so this would decrease it by another 50%. Executive Vigor gives us the ability to use additional edicts. I haven't done any edicts yet, at all. I haven't really felt the need. Both of these edicts would utterly consume my income in terms of my unity each turn, so I haven't run those yet. And we'll talk about edicts when it's more sensible for me to run an edict. But for now, that would wreck my progress through this tree that we're talking about now. So finally we have... So Executive Vigor is something that would allow us to do more edict-wise, but even just enacting one edict that we had room to run would kill our progress, so I don't want to do that right now. Transcendent Learning, leader level cap +2, leader experience gain +50%. So this just helps our leaders, like our scientists, get better faster. Shared Destiny. As we reach for ever greater heights, we must not leave behind those who have loyally served us. So this gives us additional envoys, which is a pretty big deal, and that can come in handy pretty soon. And your subjects do not suffer monthly loyalty penalties from you having multiple subjects. We don't know when we're going to run into an alien entity, though, and we haven't seen one yet. So I'm kind of torn between technological ascendancy and imperial prerogative. We have a number of planets near us. So it kind of makes me feel like adopting this one might be the best idea. I tend to incorporate imperial prerogative in most of my playthroughs. Yep, let's do it. Imperial prerogative to start. That'll just make it a little bit tougher for us to reach that 100 threshold fast. Observing the massive asteroid A159C, we have found something. Further investigation is warranted. Leave be for now. Okay, having chosen that Ascension perk, I'm going to go ahead and stop this recording here. And in the next episode, we are going to focus on not only obtaining this colony in the Jared system, this 20-slot Arctic world in the Jared system, but beyond that, we will continue to explore these neighboring clusters. It looks like this is a pretty good cluster here that kind of tapers off as we kind of enter the fog of war on the edge of our detectable area here. And then up here, we can't quite see as much, but again, we have this nebula that we're kind of wandering into, that the Jared system kind of occupies a corner of. So we need to continue finding out what's in this area. And I'm hopeful that we can lock down kind of these two general areas and kind of have a triangle of sectors. We'll have Omen, homeworld, we'll have this Kantharis miasma section of space locked down, and then maybe everything a little bit to the galactic south of Kornophoros here, kind of within our territory, by the end of the next episode or two. Thanks for watching. If you enjoyed this one, don't forget to like the video and subscribe to follow along. If it's not your first time, or even your second, click the join button to become a member and support the channel directly. New episodes are coming out every day at 3 p.m. US Eastern Time. Comments are always welcome. Let me know what you think, and I'll see you next time.